From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Cascade Paint & Supply is Reading's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
Well, as the storm rolls through tonight and into tomorrow and really through the weekend, you're going to need that Weather NorCal free app to follow the storm. Not only can you watch my latest weather updates, you can watch the 24-hour streaming channel, you can go to your neighborhood forecast, you can, of course, track everything on the radar as well. Go to your app store, whether it's your Android or your iPhone, search for Weather NorCal and download the app for free. I think you're going to like it. And I always just say this. Give it a shot. If you don't like it, take it off your phone. But just give it a shot here. All right, let's get ready to talk about some weather here. Pop up some popcorn, get something to drink, because we've got a lot to talk about and get through it all. Okay, so let's start with the headlines. The first storm moves through tonight. This has been a slow mover. It's been one of those situations where throughout the day, you've probably been saying, where's that rain Mike was talking about? Well, the storm system has been just taking its own sweet time, but we are going to be looking at off and on rain throughout the weekend and really through a good portion of next week. Snow levels, as I've been talking about all week long, are going to be much higher, probably 5,000 to 6,000 feet. 5,000 at the lowest, but really, quite honestly, closer to that 6,000 foot level and above that as we go into next week as well. Gusty winds and flooding are a concern. So we've got a lot of different types of weather elements to tell you about. So let's talk about the storm impacts this weekend. Number one, we've got the combination of heavy rain and the high snow levels. When you combine those two, that means any of the snow that we saw, say below 5,000 feet, is going to be in the form of rain on top of snow. That's going to melt the snow and give us more runoff than we would see if we just normally had the rain. So that is only going to make problems even worse. Flooding in low-lying areas, mudslides and debris flows are going to be a concern. And again, to add insult to injury, now we're talking about the gusty winds out there as well. In the valley from the south, at about 25 to 35 miles per hour, could see gusts upwards of 40, 45. And in the mountains, we could see gusts over 50 miles per hour. So again, it's going to be rainy, snowy in the mountains, which, by the way, a ton of snow above 6,000, 7,000 feet. I mean, a lot of snow. And you'll see that here when we look at those estimates here. But here's the main area of low pressure right here. We've got that subtropical moisture kind of it's tapping into. So this is going to be that heavy rain and, of course, the warmer source of air. Once this moves through, look what's coming in. Yeah, we've got a Pineapple Express or Coconut Connection or Atmospheric River, whatever we want to call it, but that stream of moisture coming on in, and that's what's coming in here for the weekend as well. All right, so let's take a look at Futurecast. Let's walk you through the timing and spell out what's going on here. Okay, so tonight, there you can still see some of that rain for the valley. We're seeing rain also in the eastern mountains at this point. Snow levels above 5,000, 6,000 feet. In fact, here's the rule of thumb I want you to remember when we're looking at Futurecast and rain for the next 7 days, really even thereafter. Snow levels will at least be above 5,000 feet. That's going to be kind of the baseline that we're looking at when we're talking about that. All right, so we got the snow out of the way for now, okay? So there's the rain that we're seeing in the valley. We could even see an isolated thunderstorm. Don't be surprised if you hear a few rumbles of thunder. Okay, so we take you through tonight, and we're still seeing scattered showers, brief periods of heavy rain in some areas. And look at this. The next batch of rain is coming on in. This one also looking pretty heavy. It looks like it's going to make it on all of Trinity County, making its way into the valley. The leading edge of that tomorrow morning will be in the form of some light showers, but that heavier rain will kind of push eastward. Now, it looks like we're getting a little bit of a rain shadow in the valley. You see how we're seeing all of this rain and snow in the mountains here, but we're just not seeing as much in the valley. So it looks like we may get a little bit of shadowing, a little less rainfall during this time frame as we go into the noon hour. Now check this out as we go into the afternoon. I want to point something out here. So we go into 4 p.m. and remember too, I was talking about the winds are going to be gusty. Keep in mind those winds are very strong out of the south. You see this right here? It looks like Futurecast is picking up on what we call a convergence line. And see what happens with the winds? You've got very strong winds and they butt up against the mountains and they kind of force that air up. When you force that air up, you see rain develop, especially in the very moist climate, right? So you have the surface winds moving in this direction. then you've got more winds moving this direction as well. So what happens is this line of heavy rainfall develops and it doesn't move much unless this wind pattern shifts a little bit here. Okay, so this is, again, what we call a convergence line, where those gusty winds butt up against the mountains, and then of course it forces that up and you see that heavy rainfall in one spot right here for a long period of time. That can produce flooding. And not to mention the fact that we'll get that runoff, which, good news, look at that right by the lake. It could really help fill up that lake as well. But the bad news is it could also cause some localized flooding, mudslides, and debris flows. So look at this line from 4 p.m. Watch it. You see how it's still kind of sticking around until about 9, 10 o'clock Saturday night. So it may finally start to die down. So there could be a period of time where you've got that convergence line just north of Reading for a few hours. And if that's the case, you're talking about the potential for flooding, something worth watching here. But there you can see by 10 o'clock, just some showers. And then you can see as we go into Sunday, I think Sunday morning, we'll start off with some showers out there. Again, keep in mind, 5,000 foot or higher snow levels. Now we go into Sunday. Look what happens through the day on Sunday. We're not going to see a lot of rain on Sunday. We actually may get a little bit of a break. Still some scattered showers out there, but overall, minus those morning showers on Sunday, a bit of a break. But look at this. Behind it, there's more coming on in as we go into Sunday night, and not to mention Monday. Look at that stream of moisture, that atmospheric river, helping to push in more rain for your Monday. All right, let's take a look at the flood alerts. Now, there is for Del Norte, Humboldt, and Southern Trinity County a flood watch for tonight through Saturday evening. Okay? For the other areas east of that, for the valley and the surrounding foothills, there's a flood watch for Sunday. So that won't take effect until Sunday through Monday night. Now, with all of these flood watches and flood advisories, whatever you want to call them, bottom line is this: with the heavy rainfall on top of the snowmelt, we are going to see the local creeks, streams, and rivers begin to fill up. We already have a saturated ground. It's not going to take much to saturate it again, and those rivers are going to fill up. We're going to see some flooding. We're going to see a lot of low-lying areas that are prone to flooding, most likely flood, and mudslides and debris flows. Those are going to be another concern, especially over those mountain highways. So a lot to really monitor here as we go through the weekend and even into early next week. All right, take a look at the forecast rainfall totals through Sunday night at 11 p.m. Might be overdoing it there for Chico, but I think upwards of an inch in the valley. And again, keep in mind, during that day on Sunday, or for a period of time on Saturday, that is, we're going to get shadowed a little bit here. So most of that rain will be in the higher elevations. You can see even along the coast here, we're seeing upwards of 1.5 to even 2.5 inches of rain. Now here's the long range. Take it with a grain of salt. It's not exact. It gives us a general idea that in a span of approximately 6-7 days, we are looking at anywhere from about 2.5 to maybe close to 5 inches of rain. I think possibility here for parts of the valley. Of course, we're more of the same here for the coast. But again, you see that footprint, how we're just not seeing as much off to the north and east. And that's pretty typical. Now let's talk about the winter weather. Now, as I mentioned, even though we're going to see rain at 5,000 feet and lower, and that will help to melt any snow that's there now, you go above 5,000 feet, you go above 6,000 feet, we are talking heavy snow. So the National Weather Service has issued a winter storm warning as a result of that. Because some of the higher mountain passes east of I-5 are above 5,000 feet, and that could mean the potential for some chain requirements, blowing snow, dangerous driving conditions. So we're dealing with flooding in the lower elevations, we're dealing with very heavy snowfall in the upper elevations. So let's take a look at those forecast snow totals. I mean, look how heavy it gets. Look at the mountain, look at the peak of Mount Shasta. It is going off the scale. We're talking several feet of snow. Look at Lassen Peak here, several feet of snow. We are looking at a lot of snow. We're going to be measuring it in feet. Now what I want to do here is take you out to the ski park. Here you can see the ski park right here at the base of the mountain. So let's take a look at the snow totals around the ski park. Now keep in mind, the base of the ski park is 5,500 feet. That is borderline where that rain snow mix is going to be. And I'll be honest with you, I think there could be times throughout the weekend and even into next week that it will be all rain. I don't think it's going to be heavy rain, but it will be points of that. Then there will be points where you see a mix. Then there will be other points where it may be cold enough where it can be all snow. Again, it's going to be that borderline at the base of the ski park. But as you go to the upper parts of the ski park, it'll be mainly all snow. So you can see When we look at the overall potential for snow, we're going to be measuring it a foot or two. I mean, it's not out of the question for us to see that here through Sunday night for the ski park. Fingers crossed that it's going to be mainly snow. Wind alerts, let's talk about that. So remember I was talking about those winds creating that convergence line? Well, that's what we have in store for us as we go into tonight and through Saturday evening for the valley. Winds generally from the southeast at about 15 to 25 miles per hour, but we can see those gusts at about 30 to 40 miles per hour. Of course, here's your typical, right, for central Siskiyou County and Shasta Valley, gusts up to 55 miles per hour. Kind of the same time frame here, by the way. Let's take a look at those winds. Take a look at the wind gusts, and there you have it. Look at this. By noon tomorrow, look at these gusts in the valley. We're seeing very strong winds, and there it is right there, even stronger winds as you head into central Siskiyou County. By Saturday evening, the wind's still pretty gusty out there, but I do expect as we go into Sunday, the winds will be calmer. Still, let me rephrase that. They won't be as strong because it will still be breezy out there even on Sunday, just not as bad as what we're going to see on Saturday. All right, so let's take a look at the long range. Again, we've got that stream of moisture that's just heading right for Northern California, an atmospheric river, if you will, right? And we have a series of storms following that track through at least Wednesday, if not Thursday of next week. So you see this jet stream here, or should we just kind of say the overall upper level pattern that's transporting all of that moisture into Northern California? What's going to happen is, as we go into, say, Friday, Saturday, we're going to see that this kind of shift more in this direction and push it more towards the Pacific Northwest. Now, I think the bulk of the rain will be there, but we still, even as we go into Friday, Saturday, we still could see maybe some of that rain come in. But look at this. It looks like maybe a bit of a break on Friday, but then maybe Saturday, some more wet weather coming in. But again, you see how the arrows are kind of moving more in this direction, so we may dodge some of the rain, but not all of it as we go into next weekend. Not this upcoming weekend, but next weekend. I mean, we're going out that far. But check this out. We've been seeing this trend here with the Climate Prediction Center pushing the chances for rain more and more to the north. Remember I was talking about those arrows kind of pushing more towards the Pacific Northwest? Well, that's kind of in line with what we're seeing here and drier conditions down into central and southern California. Still seeing above normal temperatures, keeping those snow levels fairly high. All right, we switch gears now. We talk about your marine forecast, and there you can see your wave heights. You know, they're going to be fairly high on Saturday. We've got that storm system coming through, but as I mentioned, we're going to see a bit of a break, a slight break on Sunday. That will allow those wave heights to drop on Sunday. So here's your marine forecast for your Saturday. South winds at 15 to 25 knots. Waves from the southwest at 12 feet at 13 seconds, and there is that small craft advisory. All right, let's go and take a look at your forecast here for tonight. You can see those temperatures will be in the upper 40s to around 50. So still fairly mild. It's still cold though for places like Chester and Laston Park, maybe around or just below freezing. Otherwise, I think it will mainly stay above freezing, mid to upper 30s for most of us in the higher elevations. Of course, a little bit more mild out towards Trinity County, and not to mention out towards Humboldt County as well, inland areas. Here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Keep in mind the overall snow level, I'm going to keep it around 5,500 feet across all of NorCal, okay? So some points could be 5,000, other points could be 6,000 feet and higher, but I'm going to keep it around 5,500 feet. So keep that in mind when you're seeing precipitation each and every single day, that it will be mainly around 5,500 feet or higher that we do see those snow levels. So for your Saturday, of course, we've got that wet weather in there. Temperatures are going to be the mid to upper 50s as we take a look at our North Coast neighborhood forecast. We take you up north, Smith River, 58, 59 degrees for Trinidad, 54 in Hoopa and Orleans, 54 degrees in Willow Creek. All right, we take a look at our neighborhood forecast for Siskiyou County. Those temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 40s for your daytime highs, off and on chances for rain, most likely through Thursday. For now, I'm giving us a break from all of this on Friday before maybe another chance for that next Saturday. Your Modoc County neighborhood forecast looks like those temperatures for tomorrow will be in the low 40s for your daytime highs. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast also mainly in the low to maybe some mid 40s in there. Of course, off and on rain here pretty much through next week. Take a look at your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Haas Farms. Temperatures on the mild side. We'll keep it somewhere in the mid 50s for your daytime highs. There you can see the city of Shasta Lake, 53, 51 for Whiskeytown, and 55 in Anderson. Let's take a look at your 7-day outlook for Redding. Of course, off and on rain through the weekend and through most of next week. Temperatures not changing much, generally staying in the upper 50s and eventually low 60s by Thursday and Friday.